There we go. Okay, so I've assumed the she's
Oh,
Scranton.
Oh, I know where that is.
I know where that is too.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
I went to Bloomsburg University 100 years ago. It was Bloomsburg College. Technically, it was Bloomsburg Teachers College, I think.
Right, right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, you guys.
How cool.
And,
well, welcome, everybody. And I know,
welcome.
Don't be mad at me. We're talking about hydration, and I know this is not the answer, what's in my glass.
Oh, it's wine.
Complete opposite of what we need.
That's all right. Sometimes, you know, gotta do what you gotta do. Let's see. I'm trying to change to my gallery view because I like to see everybody. There we go. Okay. All righty. So we're going to be talking about, you can't talk about dehydration without talking about hydration. And well,
can we do something first?
What?
Can we say welcome to Together We Thrive? This is Thrive Thursday.
There we
where
go.
we do little chats about things that are important to all of us. And the way it works is that we have about a 5 to 10 minute presentation by somebody on a topic, and then after that we just roll into discussion, questions and answers, and questions and we hope answers and discussion. And Karen, so I'm Cheryl Wills, and Karen Sullivan is here. Karen's going to present tonight on Hydrate to Survive. And I want to tell you something. That is a good title because that is absolutely real. So Karen, welcome everybody. And for your friends who missed this, it'll be recorded and we post it on different places. Most of our YouTube channels will have this, so be able to find it. Thank you, Karen, for doing this. And thank you, everybody, for being here.
Yes,
all right.
Thank you.
Take it away.
Take it away. Okay. Okay. So, we lose water in our bodies, even just, a little bit of perspiration. You don't have to work out in order to lose water. It's just the natural process. So if you think about, everybody talks about in health articles, there's a reason that they're saying, you have to make sure you drink, because the human body is made up of water. Majority, 75% of the body is made up of water. And it helps to control your body temperature, your heart rate, your blood pressure. Proper hydration affects the health of your muscles, your joints, your skin, even work in your brain. And we are going to look at, here we have, the body is 75% water. I thought it was interesting too, the world is covered in 71% water, which I thought, isn't that interesting that it's so close to the way we are as a reflection of what the planet has. Yeah. So hydration is if we talk about dehydration is when the body experiences loss. In other words, you don't take in as much water as you're losing. And you can lose it in a number of ways. Certainly we do have sweating when we sweat, but sometimes if you are ill and you're vomiting, or if you have diarrhea, that's another way that you can lose water in your body. And it's so important, that your kidneys are working constantly to keep the balance, and your kidneys don't want you to lose water, because they're responsible for making sure that the electrolytes get into your body. So they're positive and negative ions that or not ions, but electrolytes that need to be there so that that's the circuitry that you need for running your brain and keeping your heart pumping. And it's so important to have those in your body. In the meantime, the kidneys are trying to get rid of, so it does have to eliminate fluid because it wants the urea and ammonia out of your body because that's poison. Okay. So when you start to get sick and there are kidney problems and people with kidney disease, it's a really serious situation because you have poisoning in the body just because the kidneys are not working. So when you're playing with your water, not drinking enough water, not allowing your body to be able to hydrate and work correctly, you're asking for a little bit of trouble here. So we want to make sure that you don't have too little water. Now, have you ever been on an elliptical? I wanted to talk about the electrolytes. When you're on an elliptical machine or a treadmill or something and you want to check your heart rate, you know, those little silver panels where you put your hands. Well, when you put your hands on there, the machine needs for your hands to be sweaty because the water conducts the electricity and so it can register. And that's just one example of how water is important in your body. The same thing happens in your body, okay? So you always want to have that water. Lack of water, and when you work out, you can lose the fluids and have problems with muscle spasms. Has anybody ever gotten those before? You get a Charlie horse?
No, I haven't gotten that.
No?
Oh,
Well
yeah.
then, it's,
No, not that, not from dehydration, no.
it's can be miserable. It can be absolutely miserable. But we want to try to make sure that you're keeping the muscles so that, you know, hydrated so that they can perform. Okay, so let's look at the symptoms, dehydration symptoms. First, there's thirst. However, we don't recognize that we're thirst, and it's not an accurate, a really accurate way of measuring whether you're dehydrated because a lot of times you won't feel really thirsty. I know that when I used to work with the swim team, I couldn't get the kids to drink water. We'd have water, they'd bring their bottles, they were supposed to bring their bottles, but they were also supposed to, when they had a break in their swim in whatever their sets they were doing, they were supposed to drink water at the end of the set. And they wouldn't do it. They wouldn't touch it the whole time. And I kept saying, you know, guys, your body is not going to be able to operate at peak performance if you're not having the water in your body. Swimming in it is not the same. You're not a sponge. You know, it's not going to happen. Now, the first thing that might happen when you're dehydrated is that you'll get a headache. You can feel lethargic. You can have dry mouth. With a baby, that their lips can get cracked, or if they're crying, they have no tears. So babies and children, you can watch for dehydration in that way. That's like a level 1 of dehydration. That's where you go, okay, we can fix this. It's not real dangerous at this point. Level 2 is that there's less urination, or it's real dark urine, sometimes weakness, constipation, and then the skin tenting. If you pull your skin up, grab a hold of your skin and pull it, and it stays up in this little tent, then you have a real big problem. Okay. I had a client before this whole pandemic thing that I was working with him. He was a stroke rehab, and one day he just kept complaining about being really tired. And I said, well, how much water have you had to drink? Well, I had a glass. I said, 1 glass? You had 1 glass this morning? Well, yeah, you know. And I said, when I asked him more, it was like a juice glass, a tiny little juice glass. I was like, I don't think you've had enough. And when I pulled his skin, it tented really badly, and his legs just gave out from under him. I had to get a wheelchair in order to be able to move him because he couldn't hold himself up anymore. So it's super, at this level, it's very, very dangerous. The next level, level 3, is where sunken eyes, dizziness, and when you stop sweating. they talk about, the babies, you'll see it earlier on, their bodies will respond in that way where there will be no tears. But for people, you won't sweat, and the mouth dry, you'll have a fever, your mind will be foggy, and sort of you can feel almost delirious, and that can lead to unconsciousness. Okay, so generally, when this happens, your electrolytes can be out of balance, and when that happens, it's really important to get some back, into your body, which is where um, the whole idea of using sports drinks came up. Well, the issue with sports drinks is that they really have a lot of sugar in them and an awful lot of sodium, which is what's in your body. But there's a kind of a heavy duty dump from also artificial sweeteners and everything and coloring that's in stuff like the commercial sports drinks. The Hydrate is what I use, and I'll have to show you this. I'll show you this when we're done with this, and that helps to get the electrolytes into the body. Now, treatment for hydration, there is a way to get around this. I'll come back to this slide in a second, but this is drinking water. And I said in the introduction about this that I was going to give you a cure. Yeah, I can give you a cure. It's to drink water out of a glass, out of a refillable bottle, out of, they have all these plastic bottles and everything that I used here, but you just want to make sure you do drink. Now, I found this app also, and it's called, wait a minute, the cure. It's called, it's called PNC, okay? And it's a real app. And for people who, like to chart and graph things, you can use it, and it'll set off a timer to remind you that you haven't had water yet, now, and now it's time to have some. And then you'll see how, just how your water consumption is going. So that's one way to do it. You can also just set a timer on your phone if you don't want to use the app, but that's the cure, is to not allow the dehydration to happen. Make sure that you have water with you at all times. The natural so let's see, I'm going to come out of here, go back to this and the Hydrate. The electrolytes that are in this are, let's see, they're natural coconuts from natural coconut water, right? Wait a minute. I have my wrong glasses on because I've got my computer glasses, not my reading glasses. I apologize. There we go. Okay. Okay, so it has, electrolytes from coconut water, and it only has 1 gram of sugar that helps to help it to absorb. There we go. So here, I'll show you guys this. And I love it. It comes in a canister also, but I use these little sticks and they come in lemon lime, and this is good for, an 8-ounce bottle. Sometimes I put 2 in if I'm really feeling dehydrated. And lemon lime and orange. Okay. This was something my dad used to always have problems with, cramping in his muscles. And for years, the doctors gave him quinine for that. And I'm not quite, it was a prescription. We've talked about quinine before, and that seemed to help him. And then I got him to start using this, and it stopped his cramps in his legs. They were always in his calves. His calves were like hard as rocks, and then they would cramp up really, really badly. So yeah, so the Hydrate helped it. There we go. So do you guys have questions?
Unmute. There we go. Unmuted us all. Hey, that was really great. First, I want to just tell you something. I went and put that app, and so when you open it up, it says, "Warning, caution. According to our records, you have never peed before." And that's how you set it up. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Hey, that is a great thing, because I want to tell you something. Kind of weird, but when I'm running errands and back and forth, or in my business, going to coffee shop to meet people or a restaurant, whatever, I drink so much water in the car. And when I go on a trip, it makes everybody crazy who's traveling with me, but I drink gallons of water on a trip.
Mhm.
I mean, it makes me have to stop more often, but there's something about sitting there and I just drink the water.
Mhm.
Since we've been shelter in place for 9 weeks now, right? I realized I am not drinking water, and I've been getting migraines. And I really believe, I mean, so my migraine triggers are varied, and I was doing really well with them. In fact, even the first couple of weeks in shelter in place, I still, no stress. I mean, even stress wasn't causing the migraines, but I realized it's dehydration. I am not drinking enough water while I'm at home. It's really hard to keep up with that when you're not aware of it. You think, like the guy said, like your client, yeah, I had a glass of water,
Right.
6 ounces. It's just like, we really have to, it's easy to slip out of that. And I'm telling you something, I'm a water drinker. Normally I will have 9 glasses a day
Right.
on my day of moving around and in and out of the house,
Right.
but not now. And I've had a lot of those symptoms. So did you mention, or did I miss it? I was really focusing, but I didn't. I swear I was. I must be dehydrated, or old. I don't know, or sheltered in place too long. But did you mention about how our body cannot use water without electrolytes? How critical they are.
I didn't really. I did not mention that particular, but that is true. I mean, without the electrolytes, the water isn't.
It can't be utilized, and it does not get into our tissues.
Right.
And so that's why years ago now, they for running clubs and people who are in schools and everything, they will not let runners, like on marathons, just drink water.
Right.
They're not allowed, because they had people dying at the end of a long run, usually a marathon. They were dying because they were dehydrated.
Right.
And here they were drinking water the whole 26.2 miles.
Right.
Their stomachs were filled with water. It never got to their tissue.
Never got to the tissue.
Wow.
The reason is what we lose when we're sweating, fevered, diarrhea, vomiting. What we lose are the electrolytes with the water.
If you've ever had sweat, if you wiped sweat and or drips down and you get it in your mouth, it's salty.
Right, there are the electrolytes.
Right,
and so it's really, really important. So years ago, a nurse practitioner told me that I should use, I should have 1 glass of electrolyte drink a day for the migraines, because even that would help balance out whatever was going on in my brain. Anyway, so it's really pretty curious. So in the summer, even if we're not sweating,
right,
because heat is now not absorbing. What's that called?
It's the same word that I had problems with. Evaporating.
Evaporating. Thank you. Why? It's evaporating, and people who live like in Colorado or Arizona or any desert region or something, they're really in trouble because they don't even know they're sweating.
Right.
But even so, that evaporates quickly, and lo and behold, we don't realize that we're actually dehydrated. Here, Janice,
Exactly.
something to say. Evaporate. Thank you, Janice. This is pretty. A couple of weeks ago, we had another thing, not on dehydration, but Karen could not think of that word.
I couldn't think of it.
Evaporating. It was like, I
Evaporate.
don't know, for some reason, it's like a stuck for us or something.
I know.
No, but I've been the same way because I'm like you. I drink and then I always have to find a bathroom when I go somewhere.
Right.
And being at home the other day, I'm like, oh my God, I haven't drank anything today.
No.
And I'm not like that because I drink about 50 ounces of water a day.
See?
And, being at the pool, I swim, haven't done that 3
Right.
days a week, and I get out of the pool and you don't realize how before I even get home, I 16 ounces of water before I even get home. I've been real bad. I'm glad to know it's not just me.
Yeah.
Because now I can tell myself to drink water.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
our whole
This
routine.
This little app should be awesome for us. Janice, do you have any experiences you want to share in the chat? We'll read them if you do, and we'll share them with the group. Yeah, I know. So that's Hydrate.
PEENC.
PNC.
Yeah, PNC. I know. Isn't that funny? I know. I found.
Well, I'll keep it while we're doing this. Once I get back to my normal, 5 days a week at the Recplex, I'm not going to worry about it. But I forget to drink water.
Me too. I'm looking forward to that.
You would think that being busy, I would forget, but I forget it here and don't forget it when I'm doing my normal thing.
Right, right.
So Janice is saying that sorry, Karen.
Go ahead.
Good. It's not just me.
She said, I know I feel a lot better when I hydrate, but I forget to drink sometimes too. It's true. We actually feel better all around when we are hydrated.
Exactly. Well, and there is the thing to remember with elderly people. There's the problem that was this man's problem. He's a stroke rehabilitation, and so he doesn't walk fast. And so when he has to go to the bathroom, if he really has to go to the bathroom, he can't get there fast enough, and he's afraid. So he would rather not have the accident, so he doesn't drink at all.
Right.
So
I've heard people say that.
finding that comfortable balance. Also with heart patients, they have to be cautious to not go overboard because they thin out. There's too much volume of blood. The water in the body and the volume of the blood for the heart. So there's that delicate balance there. But their doctors can tell them how much they should be drinking.
Hey, I want to tell you something about that Hydrate stick. So I love them too. The canister has the sugar in it, not a lot, but it's shackly, it's balanced, it's safe, it's all that stuff. I mean, it's all we had, and all that the astronauts were using, and all that the Olympians were using, so we came up with the Hydrate stick. But I really like that in 20 ounces of water. I do not like it in less water. You said you put 2 in 8 ounces sometimes, or even 1?
No, I put 2 in this 22 ounce thing.
Oh, okay. But it's made for 8 ounces, but
right.
I don't like it with that. But otherwise, I love it. I am so grateful for it. Here, Janice says something.
Janice, yeah.
She said, we actually get a lot of hydration from the food we eat? Yes, very true. And what are some of the foods that do give us that?
Well, the fruits, obvious,
Yeah, so they're giving us electrolytes. And they're giving us
watermelon, cucumbers, lettuce, tomatoes, all those things have.
And that might be one reason that we tend to feel a little better in the summer, because we're eating more of that stuff. Right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
Another way that my mother-in-law used to do this, she would have plastic water bottles and she'd put them to the left of the sink, and there were 8 water bottles. Now, I didn't know that she did this, but she would put 8 bottles on the left side of the sink, and then after she drank one, she would put it on the right side of the sink, and then that's how she kept track, right?
That's an awesome plan.
Great plan, until Karen started filling her bottles up and putting them back over. She said to me, she goes, "Have you been filling my bottles up and putting them back?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "That's how I count my water."
That's right. When you have a secret plan, you definitely have to share it with people around you.
Exactly.
If they're going to see it.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh,
Love
that's
you,
great.
Janice.
That's great.
Oh,
Oh, my word.
Janice is laughing. She says, ha 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 ha. Yeah.
Oh my word, it's really true.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love
there's
it.
all kinds of things we can do, and you know, this whole thing with this. Let me see. Who was I just talking to the other day? And I said, you know, maybe she's dehydrated. And I forget who it was. About it was a mother or an aunt or something. And she said, "Oh my gosh, I bet it's really true." Oh, good. You enjoyed being with us. Come back. We're here every Thursday night, Janice. It's the same link,
Yeah.
and we have a different topic. Oh, we're pretty goofy. That's why we're fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
But same link every Thursday night, same time, and you know, we'll be wrapping up here in 3 minutes. Even if we've had 9 of us on here, and we still try to wrap up at 8. You know,
Oh, she says
1:30 to
maybe
35.
I'll get a mic. And
Yeah,
then you
too.
can, yeah. And do you have a camera that you're just not letting us see you? You could use your cell
Oh, you can
phone.
use your cell phone. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely do that. Yeah, and you don't have to have your video on, but you know, uh, you can. I mean, to put the video on, I have to go and make sure I fix my hair or something first myself.
It's spelling.
I'm not just going to show up on a camera. But yeah, yeah. So it's really good. So next week we're talking about vitamin D,
Oh,
which is really big in the news right now. And
yes, it's great.
but actually before, I don't know if you saw that, Gretchen, I posted on Facebook, you know, so even before it was in the news, I mean, excuse me, before that study came out from the UK about it with COVID, I was already planning to talk about vitamin D next week. So
Yes, right.
Well, I will tell you, I was about 2 years ago, I got my blood work that I get once a year. I was really, really, really deficient in vitamin D, and I eat healthy, and my doctor's like, it doesn't. So anyways, I started taking one vitamin D. I'm at normal levels now. I'm not so tired. I don't feel so bleh. So
Good.
it's true. You know, it's Janice says it's not unusual. I know. In fact, I think it's like 95% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D. I mean, that's
That's a lot.
crazy. 50,000. Wow. I don't know if you or if you're a Shackley member or not, Janice, but I do want to tell you, you probably don't need quite as much if you use a Shackley because there's a little bit different sourcing, and you usually need less than a doctor prescribes so look at that if you haven't.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Wow.
you know, vitamin D. I don't know what I was going to say. I'm going to save it for next week anyway.
Save it for next week.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, are your vitamin D levels up there, Janice? Yes, they are. Good.
Oh, okay, there.
Good.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes we need that, you know, that big power punch of something to get us over a hump.
well, and apparently too, that vitamin D deficient runs in families because both my siblings are